like to take this opportunity to thank the media for what you've done the last 2 weeks. You've been great to work with. You have a job to do, and I appreciate the job that you do, and also appreciate the fact that Alabama was able to dominate the sports page for the last 2 weeks. I also would want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank this gentleman here, Gene Stallings. He's given us 7 years of championship caliber football teams. For me, it's been an honor and a privilege to have worked with him. I regret that it's been a very brief time, and I can say I believe on behalf of all Alabama fans that we look forward to winning that 70th game for Coach Stallings on January the 1st. A key player in this announcement couldn't be here today. Some time ago, he made arrangements and plans to be in New York City on a fundraising drive, and also to represent the university at the National Football Hall of Fame dinner tomorrow night, one of several representatives that we'll have at that particular dinner. But it's my pleasure and take this opportunity at this time to introduce to you, by the miracle of speakerphones and electronic gadgetry, Dr. Andrew Sorensen, our university president, who's going to visit with you and make a brief statement.
I regret that I can't be with you. I'm in New York City hosting a meeting of the Greater New York Alumni Chapter of the University of Alabama. And as Mr. Bachroth said, I will be also hosting the Alabama delegation at the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame dinner tomorrow evening. However, I join Coach Bachroth in saluting Coach Stallings for being selected and the University of Alabama team for being selected to play in the Outback Bowl. I, too, regret that I've only had a short time to work with Coach Stallings. He has obviously done great things for the University of Alabama, representing us in a very positive way, not only winning a national championship, but continuing the magnificent traditions associated with intercollegiate athletics at the University of Alabama. Mr. Bachroth and I are delighted that Coach Dubose has accepted our invitation to be the head football coach at the University of Alabama. Each of us has spoken with him at some length. We are very favorably impressed with his character, with his dedication to upholding the winning traditions at the University of Alabama. And for my part, I am immensely pleased that he subscribes wholeheartedly to the emphasis that I have stressed of winning on the field and winning in the classroom. His values, his scruples, his dedication to the principles for which the University of Alabama stands are most impressive, and we are delighted that he has agreed to be our head football coach. He has big shoes to fill. That Coach Stallings is leaving, but we are confident that he will find a way to fill those shoes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sorensen. 2 weeks ago, I shared with you that the objective of this search was to find the very best person to head up this football program. I also shared with you at that time that I had 10 attributes that I was going to look for in this new coach. I can tell you that I appreciate, since those comments, all the input that I've gotten from fans and friends of the Alabama program over the last 2 weeks. A lot's been written and a lot's been said about who should be the next football coach at this university. As I say, I believe that we have hired the very best person for this job. He exceeds all the attributes that I spoke of 2 weeks ago. He's a super person, an excellent football coach, a great family man. And it's my pleasure at this time to present Mike Dubose as our 22nd head football coach. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a special time. Christmas has always been special in our family. I tried to think back the last few days of what was the best Christmas that I'd ever had or that I could recall, and I'm sure you have memories the same way. And, and I kept coming back to the thought that, this is a gift of a lifetime. I've been given an opportunity that far exceeds any gift that I could have ever been given. I want to thank the Board of Trustees. I want to thank Dr. Sorensen. I want to thank Coach Bachroth for giving me this opportunity, for the trust that they've put in me and the confidence that they showed in giving me this opportunity. My standing here today It's proof of two things, and I think it's important. It's proof that dreams do come true. And I hope every young person in the state of Alabama and in the country reads about this or sees this or hears this, because it sends a message to them that don't be afraid to dream, and don't be afraid to dream big. Because if you work hard, you be patient, dreams do come true, and this is a dream for me and for my family. The second thing is, and I think it's the most important thing, is that prayer works. I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to and visited with and received letters and faxes from that said that they were not only praying for me, but praying about this situation and praying for the university. And I'm convinced as a result of those prayers that I'm standing before you today, and that hopefully that we'll never underestimate the power of prayer. I don't think anyone can ever accomplish a goal or accomplish anything worthwhile without the help of others. And I've been very fortunate. At a very early age, I grew up in a small community down in South Alabama called Alabama. And at that time, there was a group of people there that genuinely loved and had a concern for the youth in that area. And they were supportive in all things. And I wouldn't be here today without them. I've been very fortunate. I've played with some outstanding players in high school. I played with some outstanding players here at the University of Alabama. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here today. And, hopefully the goals and the aspirations that they have for this program, that we can carry that on. I was talking with Jeff Rising yesterday at lunch, and he said, I've been lucky. I can never remember in Opp Elementary School, South Highlands Elementary School in Opp, or Opp Junior High School, or Opp High School, or the 5 years at the University of Alabama, ever having a bad teacher or a bad professor. Not many people can say that, and I'm here because of them today, and I want to say thank you to them. I've also never had a bad football coach. I don't know as many people that have played the game as long as I played the game can say that. In junior high school, Robert Waller was an outstanding football coach. High school, Bobby Smith, that played here for Coach Bryant at the University of Alabama, was an outstanding coach, and the assistants that he had. And I was very fortunate. I wouldn't be here today without him. And then have the opportunity to come to the University of Alabama. Freshman year, played for Coach Driscoll. Coach Hennessy also worked with. And I'll always be indebted to you, Coach, for the things, and not only football, but the things I learned about life from you. The things that I learned from Coach Hennessy. He's always been there for me, so he'll always be special to me. There's not a day goes by that I see him that I don't ask him for advice. Coach, I appreciate you. Coach Goosetree standing there, or sitting over there. He's probably forgotten more about winning than most people ever knew. Coach, I appreciate you. I'll never forget some of those early morning workout programs and the things that develop mental toughness. Without you, I wouldn't be here today. I want to say thank you. I can't stand up here without mentioning Coach Bryant. As a player and now as a coach, I don't think there's a day goes by that I don't think of Coach Bryant. He taught us more than just football. He taught us a lot about life. I'm a better person today for having played for Coach Bryant, and I wished he was here to say thank you. And I saw Paul Jr. there and his family, and I want to tell them how much I appreciate Coach and what he's done. And as long as his former players live, a part of Coach Bryant will live. He'll always have a special place. A very special thank you to Coach Stallings. You can't imagine the job that he's done. To average winning 10 games a year for the last 7 years if we win the Outback Bowl. The things that he's done, and not only as a football coach, but as a person for this university, this state, and this nation. I've learned an awful lot from him. I asked him yesterday if I could have his phone number in Paris. So I'm going to need his help, and I'm going to need his advice. Not only a great coach, but a great man. I wouldn't be here today without you, Coach, and I appreciate you. I want to say thank you to the media. And I've enjoyed working with you this year, and I look forward to working with you in the future. I respect you. I have an appreciation for the job that you have to do. And I have an appreciation for what you mean to the game. You're the link between the game and the fans, the people that buy the tickets. I want to say thank you, and I look forward to working with you. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my family. Wouldn't be here without them. I'll try not to get emotional. I was very fortunate to grow up in a home that was full of love, a lot of discipline. My mom and dad taught me to be honest. They taught me to work hard, and they taught me to have a genuine concern for mankind, and I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here today without them. Excuse me. Brothers and sisters, Jim and Janet Renee have always been supportive. I'd like to thank them. Got a tremendous wife that's always been supportive, Polly. Two wonderful children, Julie and Michael, that support me in everything that I've ever tried to do. Talked about at times when things weren't going as good getting out of football, and Julie and Michael wouldn't have anything to do with that. I'm here today because of them, and I love them. Polly's mom and dad, Jane and Roy Martin are here today, and I appreciate them being here and what they've meant to us over the years. This is the dream come true. I look forward to the opportunity of leading this program to the level that we all want it to be. We have one goal, and that is to win. But there's three things that I want to make sure that we're all aware of and we understand it. Winning is important, but I think how you win is just as important, if not more so. We're going to win. We want to win with class. We're going to win, but I want to make sure that we win within the rules and regulations set forth by the SEC and the NC2A. We're going to win, but we're not going to make sure that we don't do anything that's going to take away from the integrity of the academic side of this university. We can win on the football field, and we can win in the classroom. Those three things are important to me. Not just winning, but how we win. With that, I open it up to you. Any questions that you might have?
If you have a question, please raise your hand so we get a microphone to you.
Coach Dubose, I'm Darrell Green with WAFF-TV, Huntsville, Alabama. If you would, just talk about the past couple of weeks. How tough has that been emotionally on you in trying to get ready for the SEC championship? And talk about the next couple of weeks in still being an assistant coach under Coach Stallings. What's that going to be like?
Well, the first question, there's been some distractions. I'd be lying to you if I told you otherwise. I think the fact that we had an open date helped that situation a bit because we had a little bit more time to get prepared for the SEC championship game. But I've apologized to Coach Stallings, and I apologize to you and to the people. I did a poor job of getting them ready to play Saturday. If you told me we were going to score 30 points, I told you we was going to win the football game, and I did not do the job that I should have done as far as preparing defensively to play the way that we're capable of playing.
Mike, how gratifying was the groundswell of support that you've received from just the general public and, of course, former players and alumni and friends? Even if you didn't get the job, how gratifying was that for you to hear the outpouring for the support for you?
I hope it's been overwhelming. And again, I wouldn't be here today without those friends and people that have support. And I don't think they were supporting me, or not all of them were supporting me. I think they were supporting an idea that they wanted for this particular position. And again, I thank all of them for that. Hopefully I'll have an opportunity to see each one of them at some point in time the next 3-4 months and thank them individually. Some are here today that I have thanked already, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to thank all of them at some point in time.
Coach, what about your staff? Have you begun to think about that, who you might have as your assistants?
Well, I have thought about it. I've read where I put it together already, but that's not the case right now. There will be some talks in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're not going to move in a hurry. It's been speculated that there'll be a lot of change. This program is not broken. There's some things that we're going to do a little bit differently, but there's an outstanding staff here, and the majority of this staff will stay. There will be a few changes, and those changes won't take place anytime quickly. We'll take our time and make sure that we research and think through the process, get advice from people that are seated here in this room today, and then make some decisions. But I don't think anything will happen as far as the staff in the next few days or the next couple of weeks.
Mike, I remember after talking with you Monday, you felt very good about your first interview with athletic director Bob Backrath. What do you think you said or did that really impress him and sort of put you as a front runner?
Well, I don't know exactly what I said. The thing with Coach Backrath, I felt very comfortable, and I think Coach Backrath felt very comfortable. The thing that impressed me most was his first concern was for the student athlete, that he wanted to to make sure that there was a genuineness there, the genuine concern that Coach Stallings had exemplified over the years for the student athlete. I think that was probably the main thing.
Mike Hergert, when you look at this job and know it's one of the toughest in America, you know what you're walking into, and yet you seem to be very collected in your thoughts and the direction in which you want to take the athletic program.
Well, again, Gus, you know, this program is not broken. So taking this program and continuing the work that Coach Stallings has done and the people before Coach that started this is a program with a rich tradition. I understand that rich tradition. I understand the expectations of that rich tradition. And I've been around outstanding coaches and outstanding people, so I know what it takes to get the job done here. So I'm not concerned about it. It's just a matter of continuing what is already in place.
Mike, you were saying you got a kind of a tough 3 weeks coming up. You got to prepare a football team defensively for the Outback Bowl, plus hitting the ground recruiting even more so now, huh?
Well, the recruiting is a priority this week. Exams for the players is a priority this week. Coach Stallings has done an outstanding job, and I'm going to do everything possible to help him as far as the academics, making sure that the players do the things that they need to do this week so that they can leave here with a remarkable degree. But recruiting is a priority. I wanted to emphasize one thing. I'm not the head football coach at the University of Alabama. I coach the defensive line, and I'm the defensive coordinator right now. Coach Stallings is the head football coach at the University of Alabama, and I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure that he has the opportunity to go away here and Abington wins the season.
Coach, can you describe your relationship with Woody McCorvey and how tough it was on both of you interviewing for the same job on the same staff?
I have a tremendous amount of respect for Woody. Had Woody gotten this job, I would have stayed. I don't know too many other people that I would have considered staying. But if Woody had gotten this job, I would have stayed, and I think Woody feels the same way. I have a tremendous amount of respect. Hopefully Woody will stay and have an awful lot of input into the day-to-day operations of this football team. I have complete confidence in Woody.
Mike, what would be your offensive philosophy? You've been a defensive coach. What changes will you make on the offensive end of the football?
Well, again, you know, there will be some changes. But, we'll totally finalize all that till the staff is put together and we have a chance to sit down and put our heads together and come up with some things. You know, we're going to open it up a little bit. We're still going to be able to run the football. We want to be able to throw the football when we want to throw it. We want to be able to run it when we want to run it. But there's certain situations in a game that dictates that you got to be able to throw it in certain situations. There's certain situations that dictate you got to be able to run it in certain situations. So we want to be able to do all those things. We like to force the defenses to defend the field and hopefully be able to do things where we want them as opposed to when defenses dictate them to us. But we'll come up with a little bit better plan, and I'll describe that for you in more detail when we get the staff put together.
Coach, what kind of pressure are you going to be under following in the footsteps of Gene Stallings and one of the biggest college football programs in the country?
Well, again, it's just a tremendous challenge and a tremendous opportunity following Coach Stallings. I'm not going to even attempt to put his shoes on. You know, that'd be unfair. He has done an outstanding job here. You know, I'm going to go out and try to be my own man and run this program the way he's run it, the way it's been run in the past. But again, I'm not going to try to be Coach Stallings. Hopefully there's a lot of things that Coach has done over the years that I've learned from and will play a big part in the philosophy of this program overall. But again, I wouldn't dare to try to be Coach Stallings. I have too much respect for him for that.
Mike, could you expound on your offensive philosophy? You've been a defensive coach your entire life. Talk a little bit about your offensive philosophy, and will you be the kind of coach who wears a headset on the sidelines and call plays?
Well, again, some of that is still not finalized, but as far as the headset, no. And as far as calling plays, no. I may be like Coach and may recommend plays from time to time, and I'll have some input into the day-to-day decision-making as far as the offense is concerned and the defense in the kicking game. But basically, we'll go out and we'll put a staff together and let that staff, you know, formulate what they want to do offensively and then go from there. Again, we want to make sure that we can put points on the board. We want to make sure that we can force our defenses to have to adjust to us. I see us probably being a little bit more multiple formation-wise, motion-wise, shift-wise, and then still run basically the same plays from different sets, trying to create confusion for the offense or for the defense, and hopefully get some matchups that will benefit us.
Coach, you said in your opening remarks that you got Coach Stallings' phone number in Paris. How serious were you? How much consulting will you do with Coach Stallings?
Very serious. Again, I have tremendous respect for Coach Stallings and what he's accomplished he may end up getting an unlisted number. I may call him so much, but I do need his help, and I meant that sincerely.
Coach, is that also because, in part, you've only had 1 year of head coaching experience, and that was on the high school level? I mean, do you feel like you're almost learning on the job, so to speak, or do you feel like you've been around enough coaching that you're going to know what it's like to be the head coach?
Well, if I didn't think I could get this job done, I wouldn't be standing here right now, because, again, I have a tremendous love and appreciation for this university. If you remember, I made the statement that, I wanted to be considered for a candidate here, but I also wanted them to go out and find the best coach possible for this university. So I do feel like I'm qualified. Will I learn on the job? Will I learn from experience? Sure. There's no question that, that I'll be a better head coach 10 years from now than I am 3 weeks from now.
Coach, one thing that separated your name from the others is that you wouldn't use this as a stepping stone somewhere else, or so most of the fans believe. Could you address that? Is this an end-all job for you? Is this where you want to spend 25 years?
This is the only coaching job I want. The only one I want. I hope I'm here for a long, long time.
Coach, we know you're into physical fitness yourself. How will that change as far as conditioning and the toughness of the team in the future?
Well, again, we've been a well-conditioned football team this year. If you look at us, we've not lost that many players. We haven't had players having to leave the game because of lack of conditioning. But we'll continue to put a major emphasis on the conditioning, the strength and conditioning part of the program. I do think we need to become a little bit stronger football team than we have been. Yes.
Coach, a year or two ago, you nearly left Alabama to go back to the NFL. When you decided to return, did any of these thoughts play into your mind at that point?
Well, I'm a firm believer that things work out for the best in the long run, and got my daughter to thank for that decision. She was going into her senior year at Central High School, just thought, going back to Tampa Bay and getting back in the NFL was a great opportunity at that particular time, a little bit more money. But it just didn't feel right. It wasn't the right thing, and basically because of Julian came back and wouldn't be here today had that decision stood probably. Well, again, it doesn't change my perspective at all. I made a promise to Coach Stallings yesterday. I was very embarrassed by the way we played Saturday. That's my responsibility, and I'm going to do everything I can to get us ready to play against a good Michigan football team. And again, I'm a defensive line coach and a defensive coordinator up until the first of the year.
Mike, there's no question that assistant coaches work hard, but they're not as visible, certainly, as the head coach. Are you looking forward to being in the limelight a little more?
Well, I'm looking forward to it right now. It may change after, a few weeks or so, and one of the things I'll be talking to Coach about from time to time. So it's just an exciting time for me. It's an exciting time for our family, but I'm sure, some of that will change with time.
Mike, can you tell us exactly when you were actually offered the job and when it was a done deal that you would be the next coach?
I interviewed with Coach Bockrath on Sunday, talked to Dr. Sorensen Monday night, and was offered the job, and he accepted the job Tuesday morning. The only thing I was concerned is how much it was going to cost me. But I was offered the job Tuesday morning.
Coach, you talked about praying and dreaming about getting this job, but did you ever think that it would really actually ever happen?
I thought it would. I'll be honest with you, I thought it would happen. I didn't know that it would happen this quickly, but I thought at some point in time down in the future that it would happen, yes.
At this time, we'll take any questions from the phone lines.
Okay, we have a question from David Pascal.
Coach, congratulations from up here in Chattanooga. I know you've spent some time up here. You had ties and stints in Mississippi, down in Florida. Do you feel that your deep-rooted ties to the South gave you an advantage during the selection process?
I think the fact that, I'm from the South had a part to play in it. I think the fact that I've moved around and had a chance to experience several different philosophies, several different systems of offense, defense, and the kick game all played a part in it. But I do think the fact that I'm from Alabama, played at the University of Alabama, played a part in the selection.